many of you already know, I am a wig wearer, and for months you guys have been asking me to do a video on this topic and tell you everything I know about wigs, which you might be surprised to hear is not that much. So let me first start off by saying that I am not a wig expert, I am not a professional cosplayer, and everything I'm about to tell you is only stuff that I have learned through the internet, through friends, through life experience wearing my own wigs, and some of you might know better solutions to the kinds of things we're going to be talking about. And if you do, please leave them in the comments below. Okay, down to business. Sorry, I lost my head. Some people braid their hair in like French braids, some do cornrows, some just do regular braids that are like strands and then they put them all together. I have really thin hair and I don't have a whole lot of it, especially since I'm missing all of this. So I can do a really quick, low maintenance kind of situation under my wig cap that not everyone will be able to do. If you have really thick or really long hair, you might want to think about braiding it first and then just kind of wrapping it around your head. The goal is to get your hair kind of like a hair helmet. You want it as even all the way around your head as possible. If you have any balls on your head, it's going to show up under the wig. That's why I don't like doing a ponytail low or high or on the sides like some people do, because I personally can see it where it is under the wig and I think it looks kind of strange. I do it the sloppy easy way where I just stick the wig cap on my head. I got hair back here now. I try not to twist it or ball it up or do anything like that. I just start tucking it underneath, all up in there. And then once I have most of it in the wig cap, I just kind of like do this where I just kind of spread it around. I move it with my fingers to try to make sure that there's no bald areas anywhere, even low. I just kind of move it like that. Once I'm looking bald, I take a brush, I brush out the wig. Now I have it upside down right now. Well, this is right side up, but I have my hands in it like this, and then I hold it this way, and then I just kind of dive into it like I'm swimming. Then I find where the ears go. I adjust it. And then if you have a good wig that already matches at the lace front, that should really be it. This wig is starting to see its day where it's not as soft as when I first got it, and it doesn't lay the same as when I first got it, but that's how you put on a wig. So I asked you guys on Snapchat and Twitter what your biggest wig questions were, and I made notes again because I don't want to ramble too much. We're gonna start off with how many do I have? Lots of people wanted to know exactly how many I have. Today I have 45. But as some of you also know who follow me on Snapchat and Twitter, I've been like gutting everything that I own recently, and I just threw out about 10 wigs that had seen their day or just weren't getting any use. A lot of people ask me, why do I wear wigs, especially when I get my hair done by the amazing Guy Tang. Why would I wear wigs? Well, let me tell you, wigs are awesome, and you can change your hair color and style and cut and everything at any time, which to me is a big perk because I am always bored with my look and I love changing it up frequently, and wigs let me do that pretty darn cheaply and very easily without damage, without all the things that come along with doing those changes yourself. 2, I do a lot of makeup looks that I think would look better with certain wigs or that are characters which kind of require wigs. 3, I don't know how many of y'all know, but I am a natural strawberry blonde redhead, which this is pretty darn similar to now, so that shouldn't be too much of a big deal. But usually when I get my hair dyed any color other than my natural color, my roots grow in and I start to look like I'm balding because they're so light. So in between touch-ups, which are kind of infrequent because me and Guy are both very, very busy people, wigs are just easier to throw it on and look fabulous. Also, wigs take about 5 minutes for me to put on, and doing my hair, especially with like extensions and all, takes much, much longer, like 45 minutes. So if I'm sleepy and it's early in the morning, wigs are just way easier. Those are the reasons that I wear wigs. They're awesome. How much do my wigs cost? The ones that I buy range generally around $70 to $85 a piece. That's like the sweet spot that I've found that is right on the border of not too cheap and not too expensive. Anything under that price range I usually find just doesn't look convincing to really wear out, and anything over that price range I better love that wig to want to spend more money than that on something. But wigs can range into the thousands of dollars. They can be anywhere from like 10 to thousands of dollars. Not 10,000, but like 10 doll hairs to 1,000, 2,000, probably 3 or 4 somewhere in the world. Where do I get my wigs? Probably the most asked question ever. I get most of my wigs in a shop called Nigel's, which is in North Hollywood, California. I also get them at some Halloween stores here in LA that are open all year round, because Halloween stores carry the really fun, colorful ones, but they're usually on the cheaper side. And I have some from the internet, aka Etsy, Here He Goes. I have some of those, but the majority of them are from a place in LA called Nigel's. So, sorry. Not very accessible for everyone I know. But there's good news. Most of the wigs that I get at Nigel's are all one brand name, which is Isis. No, not that Isis. So you can find them online. Are they comfortable? No. I would say generally speaking, no. A lot of people wanted to know how to make them less itchy and how to make them less hot. And quite frankly, I have not figured out a way to do either, other than to try to buy ones that inherently are not very hot or itchy. Synthetic hair is just itchy, and I've heard that natural real hair in wigs can be just as itchy, although I don't believe I have any 100% real hair wigs, so I can't personally vouch on that one. Not all of mine are itchy. I can't really figure out why some of them are and some of them aren't. They usually itch at the back of the neck, and they usually itch sometimes at the front where the lace is, and I'll explain what that is in a second. A lot of them are very hot. Sometimes I forego wearing a coat because I have a wig on, and that's all I'm gonna need to keep me warm. I don't wear wigs because they're perfect. I wear them for all the reasons that I mentioned earlier, but they definitely have some downsides, and I think one of them is that it's hard to find a comfortable wig. They definitely exist. I definitely have some that are pretty darn comfy, and I can kind of forget that they're on my head after a while. But most of them, they're just obviously not gonna be more comfortable than not wearing anything. A very common question I got was, how do I make wigs look good? Let me tell you, I use a lot of tricks to fake it, as do a lot of people who wear wigs, or you make sure that you buy a wig that already looks good. That's the option I like the most. I definitely avoid buying wigs online because I think that trying them on first helps a ton. There's wigs that you might pick out online because they look gorgeous, and then you get them in person and they just don't sit on your head right, or they're really uncomfortable, or they don't look natural, that you couldn't tell in the picture. So my number one advice is to try on a wig before you buy it if you're able to. Lots of cities have wig stores. That's why I go in person to try on most of the ones I've ever bought, and that solves a lot of the problems for me in terms of making them look good, because I can tell in the store that they're going to look natural when I bring them home. Another way to make them look more natural is to buy a lace front wig. Now, let me tell you the difference if you're new. This dirty old wig is one of my favorites. So this is a lace front wig. You can see this netting. It's pretty firm netting, but that's what you call a lace front wig. And then it has a normal cap inside. Some wigs are lace all the way around. I have one that's like that, but most of them are just lace right here in the front area. A non-lace front wig looks like this, where it's the cap the whole way, and the front of it, as you can see, is just kind of like a hard start to all the hair. So there's this thick band otherwise. So if you're looking for more natural, I would always recommend the lace front wig because it just has a more natural start to the hair, and the hairline itself, you can see each strand, which looks more like real hair. Another dead giveaway that something is a wig is if it's really shiny. So if you want something more natural, try to find hair that is less shiny. So a wig like this, as you can see, is hella shiny. But then looking at the lace front wig that I just showed you, this has shine to it, but it's a much more natural shine compared to that. See the difference? And this wig looks really natural in person, and this one does not. If you need to get rid of the shine though, there's a couple ways that you can try to do that help a little bit. You can either sprinkle baby powder all over the wig and kind of brush it out, or you can try to use dry shampoo on it, which does a similar kind of thing where it just kind of takes the shine down. I don't feel like these things help enough when a wig is that shiny to make it convincing, but it helps a little bit. So see, besides the shininess of this one, the front of it just doesn't look very natural because it just starts. And another trick to kind of hiding that is you'll see that I often wear hats. I really like hats anyway, so this is no big deal to me, but just putting a beanie on to just get rid of that beginning hairline can make a world of difference. So it's all about how you dress them up sometimes. Another thing that you can do, which a lot of people do, but I do not because I like my wigs to be as low maintenance as possible, hence another reason why I try them on first, and they just need to look good from the get-go. But a lot of people will put their wig on, and if the wig is a similar color to their natural color or the color that they have on their real hair underneath, they'll pull out the very front section of their hair. So if I had a wig that was similar to this color, which I don't, but if I did, you would sit the wig about here on your head, you'd pull out these little hairs and you would blend them and brush them in to the wig, and it would make your real hairline the beginning of the hairline, and it can look really natural that way. Obviously getting a real hair wig is going to look more natural too than a synthetic wig because again, with the shiny thing, if it's a real hair wig, it's not going to have that fake shine to it. Investing in a real hair wig would look better, but they're expensive, so have fun with that. The last thing I can think of that you can do to make it look better is you can put concealer on your lace to try to blend it into your skin so that it looks kind of seamless. You can do it along the part of a wig, or you can do it just in the front of the wig. Now this is a specific problem for me because this lace front wig, the lace itself is like white. So this is perfect for me, and this is why this is one of my favorite wigs. But a lot of my wigs have a darker lace on them because most people's skin is not this white, and the people mass producing wigs are trying to cater to a larger audience. So most lace front wigs have a tan lace to them that's too dark on my skin. So even when lace comes really like low below the brow before you buy it, when you buy it, you're supposed to trim the lace all the way up to the beginning of the hairline. But when I do that, you can pretty much see exactly where the lace lays and it looks like a straight line, which totally defeats the purpose of getting a lace front wig to begin with. So what I do sometimes is, if it's really bad, I'll put concealer on top of the lace that matches my skin, not on the hair, but on the lace itself to try to lighten it and get it to match my skin. The concealer option looks really good from far away and it definitely helps blend it, but I'll be honest with you, I think that this looks really bad up close. It kind of just emphasizes the lace pattern on your head because it's caked in concealer. So, moving on. How do you keep it on your head? The easiest way is what most wigs usually come with, which involves clips, straps, and if all else fails, bobby pins. So most wigs in the cap will come with little gray clips like so. And the back of the wigs usually come with another clip right at the nape, which I really like because that really keeps it down at the back of your head. But they'll come with these little straps. They look like bra straps. They're pretty much bra straps. And they have little pockets here, and you can adjust how tight the wig is around your head by clipping these into the little hooks, like that. See, now it's adjusted, and now it will be tighter around the entire wig. Some of my wigs, though, come down too far here around the ears, and if that's the case, I'll usually take a bobby pin and I'll just clip it right here, and I'll pin it right there. I don't usually do more than that, though. The other thing that also always helps keep a wig on is the wig cap. I have tried to wear wigs before without one of these, and it just doesn't work because your soft hair just makes the wig slide all over the place and it doesn't stay on, and it's a mess. A wig cap helps a lot. So there's two different kind of wig caps that you can find as far as I know. There's probably more, but these are the two that I know about. This is one. It's basically just, it's like stocking material with a thick band here in the front. They make them in darker colors too. They also make these cool ones that are open. And you put it, I'll just do it, it'll be fun. You put it over your head. You whip the hair out. Keep the thick band here in the front. You put it on your head. It's a headband. And then you just pull the rest of your hair through. And you drop all your hair in, and it just keeps all your hair in place. It's magical. If you're a beginner with wigs, I think that second one is an easier cap to get on your head and get all of your hair in. Now there's some more intense options if you're like a pro wigger, unlike me. You can use wig glue to kind of glue the front of it right in the beginning of your hairline. You don't want to really put it on your hair. Although you could use Pros-Aid, which we use in makeup, you could use that on the hair and that will come off the hair just fine. And you can just kind of let it get tacky and kind of stick it down if you need to. I don't find that that holds really well though. Some glues I'm sure are more intense than others, but I've never tried a really intense wig glue. And then another option, which I have used in the past, and these do work well, if I can find them. And then there's stuff like this, which is tape. I had someone once tell me, who worked in a wig shop, I had someone once tell me to put this tape on my hair, like at the beginning of my hairline. Big mistake. Do not put the tape on your hair because you might not get it out. I almost didn't get it out and I thought I was gonna be bald right here the first time I did it. You wanna try to put it right in the beginning, which means that you're gonna have to pull the wig forward more than you usually would past your hairline. If you have a small forehead, you might not wanna do this. I have a lovely large real estate forehead where I could spare some room, so it's fine for me to pull it down a little further. And that's how you keep a wig on. Next portion is maintenance and storage. Maintenance-wise, you can wash your wigs. I usually avoid doing that as much as I can because I find that they get more tangly after I shampoo them, even with the right, you need special shampoo for synthetic wigs. I find that they get more tangly afterwards, which it's supposed to do the opposite, but I just try to avoid washing them. You can style them with heat if they are heat resistant, although you want to use very, very low heat to do that, otherwise it just won't curl. You can dye ones that are real hair. I've tried to dye synthetic wigs before and the dye did not take, but there probably is a way to do it. I don't know what it is. I used color hairspray to dye the Harley Quinn wig, but you could obviously dye real human hairs, though. And then storage-wise, I have those IKEA bookshelf things where you can put cubes inside of them, and I have 2 cubes of wigs. This is my Neon Unnatural Colors cube, and I have a Natural Colors cube. And then within that, I keep them all in separate bags. I usually turn the wig inside out. You can see that this is the cap in this one. I'll brush it, turn it inside out. I don't know why I do that. I saw someone who worked at a wig store do this for me when she packaged it up once, and it seemed like it made sense, so I started doing it. But I don't know if it actually helps or not. And I just keep them in there. All my wigs that I have that come curly, which by the way, if you see me wearing any curly wigs, it's because I bought them curled. I don't style my wigs at all. Again, low maintenance, lazy. But they stay curled even in these bags. When you take them out, they retain their shape. I don't know how they do it, but it's amazing. There's a better way to store them if you have the chance to. The ideal way to store them if you have the space for it is to put them on their own little mannequin heads. This is a little shorty mannequin head. I think this was like $5 at Michael's, styrofoam, cheap. The only hard thing about this is that they kind of fall off of them easily. I haven't figured out a way that I like to anchor them yet to this. So let me know if you got some ideas. And there's also these creepy giraffe neck mannequin heads. I think this was like 20 bucks from a wig store. Kind of expensive for a piece of styrofoam, but it helps for wigs like Julia. My Julia Roberts on Crack wig does not get put in a bag because this is my most expensive wig and she's so big that I just can't ball her up into a bag. So she's really good on the long neck one. Don't attack me, Julia. There's a lot of her. I mean, she goes past it. You know? And lastly, one of the biggest questions that I've got, and also the bane of my existence, is how do you prevent it from getting so tangly and knotty? Well, if you've ever worn a wig and it's past your shoulders, you know that it gets so knotted in the back here in the nape area, and in general, it will just get full of balls, like knotty hair balls. So quickly. I mean, if I wear it for like 3 hours, I've got a freaking nest back there and I don't know why. Well, let me tell you, I unfortunately do not have an answer to this one. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. I've gotten advice from a lot of people about this. Every new place I've ever bought a wig from, which is probably like 6 different stores at this point, have given me kind of the same advice. I've tried that advice and I haven't seen a very good result from any of them. A lot of people say that you just need to shampoo it, let it dry, and that'll help get rid of some of the knots. Hasn't worked for me. Some people say to put oil in the wigs, which just makes a mess and then you want to wash it, which makes it more tangly in my opinion. I have thrown out, I mean, I told you I just threw out about 10 wigs. I've thrown out several synthetic wigs now because after a while they just never feel like they used to again. They get so coarse and knotted and it's so hard to brush them out that they just look like crap after a while. But they're cheap wigs as far as wigs go. You know, $80, like I said, is kind of like right at that sweet spot where they look pretty convincing, but they're still not super high quality wigs by any means, and you just have to replace them. That might be why I have 45. Now that I'm done with all the blabbing and tips and all that stuff, I can show you my wig collection, but I cannot show you all of them because I have several that are going towards projects in the future that are still top secret. But I will show you every other wig. Let's begin the parade. That is nearly every wig I own. This right here is right up there with ripping off your eyelashes at the end of the day. Let me know which wig was your favorite, and I hope this video was helpful to you. See you next time.